today is about the backend development process, which will be conducted by Sasindu Nanayakkaara, who is a third-year software engineering undergraduate at SLIIT and a senior and a software engineer at Aramak. Over to you, Sasindu Ayya.
Am I audible?
Yes, Ayya.
Good evening, guys. Welcome to ITP Guide 5.0. And today I'm going to cover backend development of ITP Guide 5.0. Let me share my screen. Okay. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Sasindu Nanayakkaara, third year undergraduate at SLIIT. And currently I'm working as a software engineer at Aramak, and I'm a dev team member at MS Club of SLIIT. Today we are going to build a Node.js server-side application. These are the main technologies we are going to use today. We're going to use Node.js as our server-side language, and Express is our backend framework. We are going to use MongoDB as our database, and we are going to use Mongoose to connect our database and as a database library. Okay, now we can move to coding part. Okay. Today we are going to build a Node.js application. For that, basically we need to initialize our Node.js project. So we can hit npm init command. Then we can initialize our Node.js project. But previously I initialized it, so I'm not going to hit the command. But you can hit and initialize the project. Then we can get the packages.json file. After that, we can install our Node.js packages. Basically, we need I previously mentioned libraries. First, we need Express and as our backend framework, Mongoose for database library, and we are going to use Course as our middleware, and we are going to use .tnv for manage environment variables. I'm going to install these packages. For that, I can hit npm install. First, we need to install Express, then Mongoose, Course, and .tnv. Okay. After hitting command, we can get our packages. Then we can see in the node modules file all the packages are installed. I'm not going to hit the command because I previously installed that. It takes some time, so I previously installed the relevant packages, and we can use package called nodemon for start and keep live our server. And to install that, we can npm install nodemon /d, because I'm going to install as a at dev dependency because we don't need to our this package for production. So we can use only to develop. So we can install as like this. Then it's added in here as dev dependency. These are the main things we have to install. Now I think we can start the build our server. For that, first of all, we need to create a server.js file. I'm going to create it, server.js. Then we need to import our packages. First, we need the Express. Then we need a course. Then we need .tnv also. Today I'm using some programming AI called Copilot, GitHub Copilot, to reduce my time. But I highly recommend don't use it while your developments because I don't recommend it for beginners. But it's really helpful for to coding because we can the Copilot can suggest very accurate suggestions for our codings. But as a beginner, don't use it. That's my advice. And these are the things we need to. These are the things we need to import. Now we can create our app. Then we can import a so use a express function. Then we can use use course as our middleware. Then we can use app dot use express of JSON because we are going to use a JSON type data transferring. So we need to tell the server we are going to use JSON. So this command is for that. Then we can start. We need to initialize the .tnv also. .tnv config. Now we can use .tnv commands. After that, I'm going to build the database listener, server listener, app.listen. For that, we need a port number. For that, I'm going to create a variable called port. Then I'm going to add 3001 as our port. Then we need to add port here. Then we can add our callback function like this. Inside that, I'm going to give a console log as a server is start and running on. Then we can give our port number as this, like this. I think the basic part is done. Now, then we need to initialize our commands. For that, we can go to package.json and in the scripts brackets inside that we need to add this command as start. Then we have to add our starting command not one server.js because I gave the server file as server.js, so we have to give like exact like this. Then when we hit start command, the this command will run and the server will start. I'm going to hit npm start. Then it's going to start in. Now, we can see the service is starting and running on port 3001. We added this text, and now it's in here. Now I'm going to add a health check route also. Then we can confirm our app is up and running. For that, we need to code like this at dot get our route. We can do a route like this, and we have to add a request and response like this. Then we can add our some kind of text. I'm going to add a hello world. For that, we need to give as the response press dot to send it like this hello world. Okay. Okay, it's fine. Now we can check it. Can hit localhost 3001. Then we can see the command, the text that we gave in here appeared in here. It appeared in our Chrome. Now we can confirm it. Our service up and running and running fine. Now we are going to connect our database. For that, I'm going to create new folder called config. Inside that, we can create a new folder called database.js. Okay, then we can create our database function in here. We need for that we need a mongoose package. I'm going to import it like this mongoose. Then we can implement our function const connect db. This is it's an asynchronous function because we have to wait until the database connection is success or not. So for that we need to add this async keyword. Then we can keep it until the exact request is getting inside try catch block. We can implement our database connection like this. Await mongoose dot connect. Now we have to add our database URL in here. First of all, let's. I'm going to show you how to connect and create a MongoDB database. First of all, we need to go to this website, mongodb.com. Then we need to sign in, and I'm going to sign in. You can use your GitHub account or a Gmail account for that. This is we can create a free cluster and create our databases inside that. You guys can see now. I'm going to log in to MongoDB using my Gmail and click Google. I'm going to use this email, ITP project.
Excuse me, Aya. There is a small lag,
Yeah.
and it will be better if you turn off the camera.
Okay, sure. Okay, let's you can click this browse collection command. Then in here we can create our database. I'm going to create one. You guys can give your name, database name, and you can give the collection name in here. I'm not going to give that because I previously create our database in here. After that, we can get our database connection link in here. You can click this connect button and connect your application. Inside this, you can select your exact language. I'm going to use Node.js and version is 4.1 or later. Then we can get this link and we have to add it in here. Then we have to change this part as our instead of our password. We need to you should give the database password that we gave to the MongoDB when we create the database. And in here, we just give our database name before the question mark. I'm not going to give this because I previously added. This is one way to do that. I'm going to show another way using environment variables. This is our env file. You can create one of env file like this .env. Then inside that, we need to add our database URL. This is our database URL. Today I'm going to use this URL. And we need to give as a variable name and give MongoDB URI. Now we can use this database link inside this database .js function like this process dot env dot mongo URI like this. Now we are going to use this environment variable command. This method has some benefits because when we want to change our database, just simply change this URL and new URL, then the new database will connect it. Like this, we can give our database URL, and we are going to check this connection is success or not. For that, I'm going to use if command, if keyword, if on success. We can simply log a message like database MongoDB connected like this. If there is any error, we can handle it inside this catch block. We can log it the error. Okay. The database connection function is implemented. Now I'm going to export this function like this module. So, export. Use the function name as db. Okay. Now we are going to use this function inside the server.js file. First of all, we need to import it. First, give file db. Copy and edit in here. Paste. Yeah. Like this. Now we can call this function inside this server.js. I'm going to add the command database connection. Okay, now we can call the function connect.db. Now yes, an error let function. Let's see. Oh yeah, because let me connection config slash database on this file also. The wait complete set name. So here we have to change this name dd and add it in. Can call the function dot sports. We have to add s in here. Okay, now it's connected. We can see the confirmation message, MongoDB connected, that we added here. Okay, now database connection is success. Now we are going to create a database model. For that, we need a folder called model. Inside that, I'm going to create the customer model like this, customer .js. Inside that, we are going to use implement our customer model. For that, we need Mongoose package. We need to import it. Const Mongoose required Mongoose. Okay, and we need schema function also, which coming from Mongoose. Dot and this solution as okay. Now we can implement our customer model like this. You guys can refer the Mongoose edition inside. Just simply use type mongoose.com, js.com. Then we can read this website. This is Mongoose documentation. Inside in here, you guys can see how to connect database, and just we did it in previously. Inside this, we can search how to implement a schema like this. Define a schema. Yeah, this is an example. We are imported the Mongoose and just import the schema also. Now we are going to create our model. There are basically main data types in here: strings, date, boolean, number, like this, the basic ones. Okay, now we are going to implement the customer model. Customer schema, name, schema. First of all, we need to give the name, and inside that we have to define the type, data type also. I'm going to give as a string. Then we need to require it because definitely we need the customer name. Then we can add a email. Email also type string, and it's also required. Then we can add address. It's also type string and it's also required. And we can add salary. Salary. I'm going to give the type as number. Then it's also required true. Finally, we need to add image URL. It's also type string and required because today we are going to upload an image to our website, but we're not going to store our image inside the MongoDB URL because it's not type string and it has different data types like JPG and PNG, right? So we are going to store the image in our blob storage like Firebase, Amazon S3 bucket, Azure blob storage like that. After store the blob storage, then we can get the database image URL. The relevant URL will save in our MongoDB. Then we can access the image separately without any issue. That's why I gave the image the data type as string because we are going to store the image URL only. We can store images in MongoDB, but we have to convert it to base64 type. Then image will convert into string, but it's going to very large, going to be a very large file. So when the processing and storing, we need to spend more time and very amount of processing power. So it's just which we are going to store the image in blob storage and the image URL will store in MongoDB. Then these are the main columns we are going to add our database. Then I'm going to add a timestamp also. Then we can get time details when the model is modifying, when our database collection modifying and creating. Then we need to initialize our schema collection like this customer model. One goes dot model, give the collection name as customer. Then we have to give customer schema also. Now after the adding data, we can see the customer collection will appear in our database, MongoDB database. But there are small change because the MongoDB default add all the collection add separate S. But we are not going to add in here. MongoDB will add in their database. It's a common issue. Then we have to import this. module dot sports customer model. Okay, the model is done. Now we are going to create uh, basic correct functions. For that, I'm going to create new folder called controllers. Inside that, I'm going to create a customer controller JS. Okay. Now we are going to create the customer controller. First of all, we need the database model that we implemented in here. Yes, so we need to add comma, not semicolon. So it was gives error. This command. Okay, now it's fine. Okay, inside customer controller, we are going to import customer model, which is coming from the model. Yeah. Okay. First of all, I'm going to create the create customer function. For that, I'm going to give the name as register customer. It's also a synchronous function because we need to create a database request to store the data. So then we have to add the sync keyword also. Okay. First of all, we need to get the body data, which we passing through the front end. I'm going to add all the fields, name, email, address, salary, image, URL, test body, because we have to pass these data in the body part. Then we can get the data to assign data to these variables. Okay, then we can create our customer model. It is customer new customer model. Then we can add this data, name, email, and rest of things. Okay, model is created. Now we have to save this data inside try flow. I'm going to create the database request like this, new customer. Await, because we have to await until the data will save. Save. Then if it is success, name customer, we can send a success message to our front end. Then we have to response. We have to give the status code as status 201. Then we can identify it's created. Then we have to send the created customer data. We can add simply the new customer in here. Then we can get our stored data like this. If there is any error, we can handle it in our cache block like this. And we can send as status code 500 because it's server error. Then we can send the relevant error. Okay, now we implemented the register customer function. Now we are going to move the get customer data function. For that, I'm going to create get all customer function. All customers and since rest MRS. Then we can create the database request like this, const customers await, can give our customer model and find to get all. You guys don't be confused. All these codes inside this Mongo's documentation, you guys simply search get data or find data. Just search find. Uh, uh, then we can get this model.find function. This is the examples. Today I'm going to use this example, our model, and after that we need to just add find function, just like this. Then if the request is success, we can pass the data like this, status code as 200, which is a success message, and the all the customers data we can pass to our front end. If there is any error, we can handle it in our cache block. It's also we can send status 500 and the error. After that, we have to create a get one customer. For that, I'm going to get customer by ID. It's also a synchronous function. Press. Inside that, first of all, we need to identify who is the exact customer that we want to wanted the data. For that, we need to add a parameter. We can simply identify the exact customer using the customer ID. So I'm going to create a variable called ID, and we can get the parameter values like this, params dot ID, like this. Then we can create our database connection request inside the catch block like this, const customer await customer model dot. For that, we need to use find by ID function, and inside that we need to add ID. So all the examples in the Mongoose documentation, I'm going to search find by ID. Then we can get the example find by ID. This is the example. We can use like this. This exact command not relevant. Just this also fine. Okay, if this request is success, we can pass this data to our backend, sorry, front end. Press the status 200 and send our customer data, which get in the database. If there is any error, we can simply handle in our catch block. Press dot send status 500 and send the error. Okay, now we can going to implement the update part, update custom part. For that, I'm going to create a function called update customer. And it's also asynchronous. Paste. Okay, to update a specific customer, we need to identify who is the customer. So we can use this ID previous like this in here also. Const ID request params ID. Then we have to get the data which we want to update, like this: name, email, address, salary, and image URL. It's coming from body. Okay, now we can create the database connection inside the try catch block. Once updated customer away customer model uh, find by ID and update function we are going to use. Then we have to pass the ID first, and then the uh, data that we want to update, like this. This card we don't need to add just this. You guys can check this in the documentation also. Find by ID and update. This is the example. You can use like this. First of all, we need to pass ID and that data we want to update, and we can pass some other things also. But for basic, I think this will be enough. Then we have to check this request success or not. If the success, we have to pass the status code with 200 and customer data, updated data. Then if there's any error, we can handle inside the cache block. Press the status 500 and send the data. Finally, we can create a delete function also. Const delete customer, and it's also a synchronous function. For delete customer, we need to identify which customer we need to delete. For that, we can use this ID exact like this. I'm going to copy and paste in here. Then we can inside the try catch block, we can create our database request const deleted customer like this await customer model. We are going to use this command find by ID and delete this function. You guys can get this example on the Mongoose documentation. Like this, find by ID, and remove also we can use. Otherwise, delete also we can use. Both are same. We need to pass the ID which we want to delete. Then we have to check this function is this request is success or not. Then we have to pass if success. Give the status as 200, and we need to pass deleted customer data. Then if there's any error, we can handle it in our catch block. Then we can pass status rest dot status 500 and send. Okay, basic CRUD operation done. Export these modules. For that, we need to use dual.export, and inside the brackets, we need to mention the function names, register customer, get all customer, get all customers, customer, get customer by ID, update customer, delete customer. We need to add it inside the curly brackets because all these are functions. So we need to add brackets for that. Then CRUD operations are done. Now we need to define routes for each and every function. For that, I'm going to create folder called routes. Inside that, I'm going to create customer route file, customer routes.js. Inside that, we can create our routes. First of all, we need to import a function called route. It's coming from express.routes. We need to add like this. Then we can use this route method route dot. We first I'm going to define the route to our register function, register customer function, so that we can give our request as host because we are going to add data. So we have to use a host. Then we can add the route. I'm going to give route like this. Then after comma, we need to add our register function. I gave the name as register customer. Okay, it's auto imported the function. Otherwise, we need to import it manually. Okay, now I'm going to give the route, define a route to get to a customer. For that, I'm going to give a get method. Then we can give the same route because we change the method as get. So we can add a get customers function in here. Then we need to add route for get one customer. I'm going to give the exact route, and we need to give the parameter as ID because we define it as ID inside the controller. So and after the comma, we need to add the function customer by ID. Then we need to give the route to our update method. For that, I'm going to add a put method because we are updating data, and route same. We can add a ID also because we are using a parameter called ID. Then we have to give the function as update customer. Finally, we need to add route to our delete function. Then we have to give the delete method and route, and we need to give the ID also as a parameter. Then we have to add customer function in here. We have to import it also. Now we can import this route. Export this route like this. Exports route. Okay, now we can use this route inside the Server.js. First of all, we need to import it. And here we can import const customer routes, and inside this required, we have to give the exact path like this. Then we can use it in here. I'm going to add a app.use. Now we can give the base URL in here. I'm going to give API / customer. Then we have to give the function name called customer routes, which import in here. Okay, implementation is done. Now we can test this function is working or not. For that, I'm going to use Postman. It's a HTTP request testing platform, very famous platform. You guys can use this form. Give me a moment, it's loading. Okay, this is Postman software. You guys can install it. Just search postman.com. Then you guys can download the software inside this site website. Today I'm going to use it. You guys can create a database request like this, and I previously created the post method database. This is the URL we are going to use. We gave the port number as 3001. Just I added it here, and we gave in here the base URL as API/custom. So I added in here, and I gave the method as post because I gave the post method in here. So now we got you guys can we can add these data. I mentioned I'm going to add name. I'll change it as ITP 5. Email, like, and we can add 5, and others we can put like this. And you guys can remember we gave the salary as number, so we have to add like number. We don't need this curly braces. Sorry, these commas. Just simply add. Then we can click this send button. Then we can see the data is added with 200 201 port number. Now we can check our data is added or not inside the MongoDB database. You guys can see we can go to this browse collection part, and okay, inside this I gave the database as a ITP guide. Inside that we can see the customer collection in here with this, and you guys can see the added data in here. I gave ITP 5 and email as ITP 5. The added data displayed in also in here also. Then we can get this data using this URL with get method, the exact same URL which we gave in here. For get all customers, we have to use this URL with this base URL. Okay, I'm going to send the request, and we can see the all the data displayed in here, which in this data we can see in here also. Okay, we can copy this ID. Then we can create another GET request for get one customer. This is the URL, but we have to add the ID, the custom ID in here as a parameter. Then we can get in we added ID as a parameter. Then we can access inside our function, and just we can simply use send button. Then we can get exact customer detail which we create inside in the host method. Now we can see the data in here. Okay, I'm going to update this also. We can come to update request, and we have to change the method as put. The URL is same. I'm going to change the ID, and this is all data. I'm going to copy and paste in here. Then we can change the ITP file is I'm going to change as ITP 5.0. Then we can hit put command. Then we can get 200. Now in here we can see the updated data. Yeah, it's updated as 5.0. We can double check in database also. We have to refresh it. Then we can see the updated data here as 5.0. Okay, I'm going to delete this request. Just add the request. Sorry, add the ID in here. I added it. We have to give the method as delete and just send. Yeah, the deleted data in appeared in here, but we can see in the database. Now we can't see this data. Because it's deleted. Now we can see only one collection, one document. Okay, these are the main things we have to implement in our backend to ITP module. I think you guys learned something from this session. If you have any questions, you can put in our Q&A session. And I'm going to end my session. I'm going to hand over this to Sarindu Nangi. Over to you, Sarindu. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sasindu Ayya, for that insightful session. I hope you all gained a clear idea on the backend development process